Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Dragon Link, arguably one of the best decks in the current metagame, with the release of Dispotter. Dispotter is an absolutely insane card, and yeah, Dragon Link has been crushing tournaments. Now, most of the tournaments are best of threes, so how well does this deck do in a best of one? That's what I'm going to give you today. Now, I did take this list from the most recent MCS, which was the Invitational, and this was Trishula's list. I modified it a little bit. Mostly, they were playing 3 Ringo Worm, and I don't agree with that, because they cut a Safert for it. And I was like, no, you gotta play the 3 Safert. So there's that. I also cut 1 Imperm because I'm not really going to craft it. And instead I threw in a Ghost Ogre. It's a light. It's a monster that I can search off of the Chaos Ruler. That's also a hand trap. So yeah, sure, why not? I also saw people playing like Delta as another target, kind of off of Driver. But this, I don't know how I feel about that one. All in all, though, this is a pretty interesting list. So let's just do the card by card and the explanation. Starting off with the Adventure Engine. I'm going to start with the Adventure Engine. Pretty standard here. 1 Enchantress, 1 Griffin Rider, double Rite of Aramasir, and the 1 Fateful Adventure, as well as 1 Dracoback. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory there. Notably, this is actually a pretty good addition to this list, because Wandering Griffin Rider is a winged beast, and guess what? Romulus requires dragons or winged beasts. This came up surprisingly often. Yeah, also, Dracoback is just great against Floodgates and the like, so there's that. As for the rest of the list, it's just a whole bunch of dragons. You know them, you love them, it's dragons. So we have the triple Black Metal Dragon, as well as these 2 search targets, the Black Meteor, as well as the Darkness Metal, both of which are fantastic. And since Black Metal Dragon does not have a once per turn, you can search both of those in the course of a singular turn. You can bring it back off of something like a Pisty, and then get an additional search to go for the Black Meteor, which is pretty nice. So yeah, there's that. Next up, we have ourselves the Baby Chaos Dragons. We have the Wyverburster and the Collapser, 2 apiece. Yeah, it's very nice to play 2 of them. We're also playing 2 Ringo Worm. I brought this up already, but Ringo Worm is actually very good. First of all, if you have a non-effect monster on your field, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is great. On top of that, during your main phase, if you synchro summon this turn, you can banish this in order to grab another tuner, level 2. It could also be a non-tuner, but it's pretty nice in that regard, and it's just kind of a level 2 dragon, which is pretty cool. It being a tuner is also nice. Allows you to go more easily into your synchro monsters. We're also running a few rockets, not a whole lot actually, but we are running 2 Tracer, 1 Recharger, and 1 Caliber. Pretty standard. Not really anything too exciting here. We're not running the level 1 anymore because, honestly, the only reason to play Rocket Synchron was to have access to the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, which we're just not playing anymore. The extra deck space is too tight. You'd much rather have Warlord Savage, you'd much rather have Dispotter, etc. And so there's that. It's just kind of like the most easily cuttable card, and it allows access to more of your deck, which is pretty nice. We're running, of course, triple Safert, as I mentioned previously. As for the Bestials, we're running 1 Magnema, triple Sarnier, 1 Druisworm, and triple Lubellion. Now, why are we not running Baldrake? Because, honestly, it doesn't really come up all that often. The problem that I have with Baldrake, and what I think a lot of other people do as well, and why they don't play it, is it just requires too much setup to really get it off to the races. Yes, having that 4th name is nice, but it's not really that big of a deal. I'd much rather just have access to like a Sarnier. So instead of like cutting an additional Sarnier and playing a Baldrake, Sarnier is just so much better. Being able to send a card is insane. Yeah, this absolutely should have been the card that's limited instead of Druis, but alas, here we are. Anyway, moving on. We're also playing the 1 Absa Router for the Rockets as well as the send target for the Ravine. We have ourselves 1 Levianeer, which comes up. It's pretty good. And that is it. Anyway, moving on to the hand traps, we are playing triple Maxi, double Gamma, as well as the 1 Driver. We're playing the triple Ash Blossom, the 1 Ghost Ogre, and double Nibiru, as well as 2 Infip. Lots of hand traps, lots of interactions, and including the Bestials, many hands that can basically just play out of the hand instead of actually putting anything onto the field. Which means even against Maxi, even if you don't have things like Ash Blossom Gamma or Called By, you're still probably able to do something, at the very least. As for the spells, we're running the 1 Foolish Burial, double Chaos Space, the Rite of Aramesir, as I mentioned previously, the 1 Draco Back, 1 Dragon Ravine, 1 Boot Sector Launch as our search targets for the field spells. We have the 1 Fateful, 1 Branded Regained. This card's absolutely insane. I love this card. Being able to like put back cards, like for example, the Chaos Ruler, being able to put back the Wyver Bursters, Collapse Serpents, etc. Just an insanely impactful card. We have the 2 Quick Launch, the 2 Called By, and the 1 Crossout, and then the only 2 traps, that we are running is the 2 Infib and then the 1 Branded Beast. Branded Beast is also just very nice with the amount of Bestials we're running. As for the extra, this is where things get a bit interesting and where Trishula just truly takes over. Coral Dragon. That's right. Here's the thing. It's a dragon, it's a level 6, and it's a tuner. Fantastic. That's like all you need. Yeah, having access to this means that Dispotter is easier to summon, because if you have a level 4 non-tuner, which is pretty easy, you're able to go into the Dispotter off of that as well. On top of that, it also can just be used as link material in order to draw you an additional card after going for a Ringo Worm. For example, if you go Rite of Aramesir, special summon the Ringo Worm from your hand, then you can sync off those in order to go into the Coral Dragon, and then Coral Dragon, along with the Wandering Griffin Rider, allows you to go into the Romulus, and then that will trigger the Coral Dragon to chain block the Romulus, which is very, very nice. So yeah, lots of stuff like that where it's just like, cool, these just happen to line up in very specific ways. Now, could you play Baron instead? Yes, but if you are, I wouldn't suggest playing Ringo Worm. Ringo Worm is pretty nice. I don't think it's too necessary, so it's up to you. I think Coral Dragon's pretty cool, and I do really like it, but up to you. Next up, we have the Borreload Savage Dragon, we have the Chaos Ruler, we have the Dispotter, pretty standard for the Synchros. That's it. Next up, we have ourselves the Link Monsters. We're playing 1 Pisty, 2 Striker, 1 Seal, 1 Romulus, 1 Borreload, and 1 Triple Burst. And then we're also playing IP Masquerena, Dark, Unicorn, and Access Code. Now, I don't like Access Code. Not a fan of it. Almost every single deck that Trishula makes, who is very good, he is very good at making Dragon Link decks. Almost every single one includes Access Code. Do I agree? No. So rarely does this card ever need to be summoned. It comes up occasionally against things like Skill Drain, against things like, I don't know, just big guys. They're so rarely where this card comes up. But when it does come up, it's nice. Yeah, this is a very cuttable card. Honestly, I never summoned Dark. I have never summoned it. It's very important, and you absolutely need to have it. But it's probably also cuttable. So, these 3 could be switched. You could add a Baron. You could add a Underworld Goddess, you could add I don't know. And honestly, if you go Underworld Goddess, you could probably cut Unicorn if you wanted to cut that instead of the IP Masquerena, or for the IP Masquerena. So, definitely options. But yeah, most of this is pretty good and very, very useful. Except for this one. That one can be cut. Anyway, thank you guys. We're gonna hop on to the rest of the video, the replays. Anyway, that's it for the deck. There you go. Alright, here we are going first, and this looks like a pretty decent hand. We're going to grab the Magnuma here. We're going to then activate the Fateful Adventure. We're going to activate the effect of the Fateful Adventure to grab up the Wandering Griffin Rider and pitch the Nibiru to the graveyard. It's mostly to pitch the Nibiru. And then we go for the Rite of Aramesir. We're then going to activate the effect of our Fateful Adventure, and we're going to chain the Griffin Rider. We're just going to grab up the Draco back here. And honestly, I don't really have much that I can do. I'm going to go for the Magma. I'm going to activate the effect. And then I'm going to go for the Bestial Lub to grab up the Regain. And then I realize, oh right, I can go Romulus here. So I go for the Romulus, obviously. And while it does get rid of the Omni Negate, I think that's fine. Because grabbing Dragon Ravine is fantastic. So we're going to pitch the card to the graveyard to send the Absoraptor. We're going to Absoraptor and Chain Block it with the Draco back, which is one of the biggest things that you can do with the Draco back. That's so very nice. Anyway, Absolute grab up the Rocket Tracer. Now we have it normal, so of course I'm going to normal it, and we're going to go for the Striker Dragon here. We're going to activate the effect of the Striker Dragon, we're going to grab up the Boot Sector launch, and then we're going to go for the Striker Dragon, popping itself to grab up the Tracer. Now, why are we doing this? We could have just, like, gone Tracer and done the effect, right? Wrong! So we did activate the Rite of Aramasir earlier in the turn, so that means if we normal summon the Rocket Tracer, we could not have activated its pop effect. So we have to specifically special summon it, utilizing the Boot Sector launch. Okay? Keep that in mind. Hopefully that makes sense. It probably didn't. It's fine. Anyway, we're going to special summon here, and we're going to go for the Tracer. We're going to pop the Draco back, and then go into the Pisty off of the recharge. Here, we can now go for the Chaos Ruler. Yay, Chaos Ruler. We're going to activate the effect of the Chaos Ruler, and we're going to reveal off the top, called by Quick Launch. Bestial Lub is actually pretty nice. Chaos Space, and Maxi. Of course, we're going to add the Bestial Lub to our hand, and then we're going to link off into our Triple Burst. We're going to activate the Pisty effect, bringing back... I don't think it matters here what we bring back off of the Pisty, because we're just going to go for the Borrowland. I'm already Dark Locked, so I can't go for something like something like the Seal here, so I'm just... Yeah, we're just going to go for the Borrowland. I'm going to banish 2 in order to go and summon out our Chaos Ruler, and then we're going to go for the Chaos Space in order to put back that Bestial Lubellion that we banished, and draw Saronir. Oh, I'm just too good. We're going to banish another card, and then grab the Saronir, and then we're going to go for the Tracer onto our field with the Borrowland to go for the Dispotter. We're going to activate the Saronir in order to send to the graveyard the Lubellion, and then we're going to bring back the Nibiru so that we can link off of these two in order to go into our IP Masquerena. Now, notably, I didn't activate my Regained up until this point because I knew I wanted to shuffle back the Chaos Ruler because it's nice. So we're going to shuffle back the Chaos Ruler and draw Black Metal. In the end phase, we're going to grab the Druid Swarm here, and this is pretty good. To be fair, this was off of basically just Romulus. That was more or less all that we had, was we went into Romulus, and now we ended on this. So, pretty good. Alright, let's see what my opponent has. Nothing. That's right, they just concede. This was just to show you the cool things that you can do with the Adventure Engine. That's what I was thinking of. There you go. Alright, we're going first. Once again. Let's see how this goes. Alright, we're going to start off here with the Rite of Aramasir once again, and this time we do have Ringo Worm. So we're going to go and normal summon the Ringo Worm to grab up the Draco back, and then we can grab the Wandering Griffin Rider, pitching the Draco back. Draco back will then equip, and then we're going to special summon the Draco back, or the Griffin Rider, and then we're going to link off into Striker Dragon. Why did we not synchro into the Coral Dragon? Because I need Striker Dragon. Duh. Anyway, we're going to banish the Striker Dragon. We're going to activate the effect in order to bring back the Ringo Worm, and then synchro into the Coral Dragon now. There you go. There's the Coral Dragon. You wanted to see it? There it is. Anyway, Romulus! There he is, once again, utilizing the insane, weird synergy that is Griffin Rider. Anyway, we grab the Dragon Ravine. We're also going to then go into the Chaos Ruler, because guess what? That's right. That token off of Ringo Worm, it isn't specifically a tuner, it's just that it can be treated like a tuner. So we treated it like a non-tuner, and now we get Chaos Ruler. And now we get a chain block, which is very, very cool. So we're going to chain block the Chaos Ruler with the Coral Dragon, and we draw into Safer, which is pretty nice, but I think we've already normal summoned, and we reveal a whole bunch of cards that we don't really need. Oh, sorry, we did reveal the Collapse Serpent, I forgot about that, which is fantastic. We're going to go and activate the Dragon Ravine, pitching the Safer, which is nice, and then sending the Absolute. Absolute, grab up the Tracer here. We're going to activate the Saronir, banishing the Absolute in order to special summon the Saronir, and then link those off into, that's right, Seal! There he is! Let's go! Seal pass, FTK. Anyway, out comes the Bestial Lubellion, which we sent off of the Saronir. Activate the Bestial Lubellion. Now, I did a bit of a goof. I'm not going to lie. I should have activated the Safer, adding back the Bestial Lubellion sending to the graveyard in order to grab up the Magnemite, but I didn't do that, so oopsie poopsie. This is why we take replays. Anyway, we're going to go and banish 2 in order to go for the Chaos Ruler here. We're going to, this allows me to go for the Regain, shuffling back the, whatchamacallit, what was it? Darkness Metal, there we go. We drew the Wyvern Burster, which is kind of funny. Not really that big of a deal, because we were going to get the Wyvern Burster anyway, and then we're going to go and activate our Boot Sector launch, because I messed up my zones! I keep putting Chaos Ruler in the wrong spot. Don't do this. Don't put it there. Had I not done that, I could have gone special summon the Wyvern Burster, link off into Striker Dragon, and Pisty pointing to the same zones, and then we could have brought back, and then we could have done more stuff, but it's fine. We're going to go for the Tracer, popping our own guy, and then go into the Caliber. Caliber will then go into the Striker Dragon, and then we can activate the Pisty, bringing back Saronir. Here they Ghost Bell. We didn't have anything that entire time, and now they Ghost Bell? I don't know what's going on, but okay. Not really that big of a deal. Because we're just going to go Striker Dragon, and I do make a bit of a mistake. I should have popped the Pisty. Not really that big of a deal. Grab up the Recharger, activate its effect. Yeah, Recharger Engrave was very nice. Bring back the Saronir anyway, and go into Dispotter. Yay, Dispotter. We're going to activate the effect of the Dispotter to bring back the Ringo Worm, and then special summon out our Wyvern Burster, link all of that off into Borrowland. Here we can activate the effect of the Wyvern Burster, which we've already kind of activated. And then we get to go for the Safer here to grab up another Bestial. So we're going to grab up our Lubellion. Lubellion will then activate its effect in order to grab up the Magnemite, and then Magnemite will special summon itself to the field, banishing, activate its effect. Then in a new chain, we're going to activate the Borrowland to bring back, and then we can sync those off in order to, or not sync them off, link them off for an IP Mask Arena. Now I know what you're saying, why did we link off the Dispotter? Guess what? It's a Bestial monster. Do you know what that means? Yes. Branded Regain can bring it back. I don't know why this is the case, but it is. Anyway, grab the Bestial Druisworm. This is a crazy end board as well. We have the Druisworm, we have the Nibiru, which we didn't get rid of. We have the IP Masquerade, Hieratic Seals, and Borrowland on field, as well as Collapse Serpent and Wyvern Burster in grave, with the Regain to bring back the Bestial Dispotter as well. Pretty good. Anyway, they're going to go for the Pot of Prosperity, revealing off of the top triple tactics, the Bestial Fenrir, the Saronir, the Fenrir, and of course they grab the Fenrir. Now, seeing that they took the Fenrir, I go, okay, they have access to the triple tack. What am I going to do about that? Oh, nothing. Okay, cool. Anyway, Dispotter comes back. They're going to activate the Fenrir, and I'm like, no, we can't allow that to resolve. I have to negate here with the Borrowland. Just permanently negate. That's fine. We're going to bring back the Tracer here. And then my opponent goes for Thrust. And I was like, yeah, I figured. Out comes the Triple Tactics Talents. They are then going to activate the Triple Tack to take. And yeah, I'm going to let this resolve. Why? Because there's one card that they're going to take, and it's the Borrowland. Obviously. 1000% of the time they take a Borrowland. I have the out. It's Hieratic Seal. I just out my own Borrowland. It's already used its effect. Yeah, that seems pretty good, right? So, of course I'm going to do that. Deal with my own monster, then activate its effect. And since we don't have the Druisworm, it's in our hand, we're going to go for the Saronir. Now, why did I not activate the IP Mask Arena and do all of this during the main phase? Well, because what would I have gotten rid of? I would have gotten rid of the Fenrir. I can't target the Borrowland. Just can't do that, right? So I could have gone like Seals, deal with the Borrowland, then see if they still attempt to go to the battle phase, and then go for the IP Mask Arena when they do go to the, or they do make that attempt, and then like shuffle away the Fenrir. Well, if they had the second Fenrir, that could have caused issues. So I could have also potentially gone into Access Code Talker. That also could have been a good option. Sending the Saronir, sending the Tracer into the Access Code Talker. That probably would have been the best option. This is why we do replays and why we keep that in mind. Anyway, so not really that big of a deal though, because we still have Dispotter. My opponent goes for the Raisin. I'm like, that's great. Now, I could have sent back one of these, I think. I think I could have shuffled back one of those to negate the effect of the Raisin to search. I don't care if they search. I want to get the Raisin off of the field. So I'm going to pop it. So we're going to shuffle back one of my own monsters, which happened to be Driver, which is funny. And we're going to pop it. I'm like, cool. Do you have something like a continue to do anything here? No? Great, cool, game. There you go. Yeah, Dragon Link. And once again, we are going first. Yeah, obviously we're going first. We're going to start off here with the Rite of Messir, and it resolves. Okay, well, we're going to activate the Faithful Adventure to grab up the Griffin Rider, pitching Gamma to the graveyard. Out comes the Griffin Rider, and oh no, Gamma. Nah, I'm good. Cross out. Now, to be fair, I did need this to resolve. There is technically a play that I could have done had I not had this resolve, but it's far better that I let this resolve. So, luckily we had the cross out. So, it's very funny. But yeah, they had a Gamma. And this Gamma in their hand made them play really slow. And so because of that, I ended up being very low on time. I was low on time on all of these. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, we're going to go for the Sarnier. They're going to activate on another Gamma. And I'm like, dude, read the card! Anyway, it's fine. Gamma. We're going to banish our Gamma here with the Sarnier, and then link those off for, once again, Romulus. Let's go! It came up quite often, the Griffin Rider. Anyway, we're going to grab Ravine and send it the Lubellion. Ravine here sends the Absorrouter. Absorrouter effect equip Chain Block, and grab the Tracer. Here we go for the Magnemite, and now we can activate the Magnemite, and then send it to the grave for the Bestial Lub. Bestial Lub, grab the Regain, and then go for the Chaos Ruler. Chaos Ruler effect is going to go and reveal a whole bunch of cards. Ringo Worm's not terrible, but, oh, there you go, Collapse Serpent, fantastic. And activate the Ringo Worm here in order to go and grab that token, and then link those off for Dispotter. Here we can activate our effect of banishing an additional 2 to go for the whatchamacallit, and now we can bring back the level 4 in Rocket Tracer. We're going to link off into the Hieratic Seal because I messed up my zones again. Oh no. Yeah, I keep putting the Chaos Ruler in the middle zone. Don't do that. Don't put it in the middle. Put it over here. Put it to the side. Put it anywhere that isn't the middle. So yeah, I had to link off there for the seal. Anyway, we're gonna go for the Rocket Tracer, and I do make a mistake here. This is another mistake. I did not pop Fateful Adventure. I should have popped the Fateful Adventure. I've instead popped the Dragon Ravine. Dragon Ravine could have stayed on the field the entire time. I didn't need to go for the other field spell. So yeah, that's just a mistake. Oops. Wasn't thinking 20 steps ahead. My bad. Anyway, we're going to go for the Boot Sector launch here. We're going to go for the Pisty. Grab back the Ringo Worm, just because it's, mostly because it's banished and it's a light. Now we can go for the Striker Dragon, popping the Pisty in order to grab up the Recharger. Recharger will activate its effect, targeting the Pisty to grab it back our Sarnier. Here we're actually going to go for the Triple Burst, which seems weird, but it's to get a light into the graveyard for the Collapse Serpent, so that we can special summon the Collapse Serpent and then go into Borrowland. This will then allow the Collapse Serpent to search out the Wyver Burster, and then Wyver Burster can be special summoned here, and then we can go for the Borrowland, negating the Wyver Burster, bringing back the Tracer, and then going into the Borrowload Savage. Here we can go and activate our effect, or our effects. I'm going to chain block it in a way to play around Ash. I still don't know if they have something. I feel like they do. So there's that. We grab up the Collapse Serpent, and I'm feeling pretty confident. We grab the Druid Swarm as well, and yeah, feeling pretty good. Anyway, let's see what my opponent is on. They're going to start off with Mallet. Okay. Yeah. Shuffle away all of their hands, so I don't know if that Gamma's still there. I figured they had an Imperm. Yeah, I'm just going to let that go. Again, I'm still wondering if they have the Gamma, and after seeing the discards, they probably don't. But, it was Numeron. It was Numeron the whole time. Yeah. Now, they did only send 2, which is kind of interesting, but they did only send 2. So I still have Borrowland, but it doesn't matter because I have Called By anyway, so cool, good game. Yep. Now, to be fair to my opponent, they did think quite a while on that droplet, and they did decide to go for the Dispotter and the Seals. Was that the correct option? No, not really. I think you 100% go Seals and Borrowland there, but they kind of made the decision on Dispotter really early. So, whoops. But why not Dispotter? Well, while Dispotter can technically destroy one of your monsters, I don't know if it can do that during the damage step. I'd have to read it. But more importantly, even if it does destroy, it's not really that big of a deal. I feel like getting the negate and the bounce is much more important there. Yes, Dispotter's big, doesn't really matter though, because all of my monsters are big. So, bit of a misplay from my opponent. Didn't really matter because I had the Cold By and I just win the game on the spot there. But yeah, there we go. Bit of a misplay. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is pretty fun. Every single one of my games, it just took a really long time, and it took a lot of brain power to come up with those end boards, and they were all very different and very unique. So, yeah, pretty cool. I thoroughly love this playstyle for a combo deck, where it is, yes, a combo deck, but it does require you to actually, like, go through your different lines in various different ways, depending on your hand and depending on what you've already activated in hand traps and stuff like that. So, very, very fun. Thoroughly enjoy it. It feels like a puzzle, which I like. Anyway, very fun deck. Dispotter's crazy. Just so very good. Chaos Ruler should be banned. I am so confused as to why this is not banned. Have you have you read this card? It's just painful choice. It's just painful choice. Not really, but it does feel that way sometimes. I've seen some insane mills off of Chaos Ruler where it's literally just like, cool, here's 5 choices. All of them are crazy. All of them being sent to the graveyard are crazy. Just have fun. And yeah, Chaos Ruler does that. The adventure engine is fantastic. Being able to grab up the Wandering Griffin Rider in particular to go into Romulus is so very cool. Ringo Worm is a nice addition. It's not crazy, but it's nice. Yeah, that's basically it. Coral Dragon is fun. That's it. But that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, likes is very much appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.